Yes, Brandon Pope, Lessons from Wall Street. Brandon, welcome.
Thank you.
Spiritual Lessons from Wall Street is your book. It's not just lessons from Wall Street, and I want to get to the spiritual side in a moment. But what's your read on what happened a year and a half ago? Were you surprised? Were you shocked by what happened?
You know, I think it was a shock, but I don't think it was something that many of us were prepared for. Let me tell you why. I mean, in the 80s many times are referred to as the greed decade, right? The greed decade. You've heard greed is good. I mean, that's a mantra, fear and greed. Well, look, the past decade, credit or leverage perhaps is good. And so I think what happened for many of us is that our checkbook was in reverse order to where it should be. We were spending first, maybe saving a little second, perhaps if anything's left over, giving third. And you know that's reverse, Jim. You know that's reverse. And I think what happens is we put ourselves first, and in putting ourselves first, we tend to want more. And I think it is in wanting more that we wanted more credit, we wanted more homes, we wanted more things that we couldn't afford. And what did Wall Street do? We fueled it. We gave it. We provided those vehicles that got those consumers to want more, more, and more. And in the end, it had to end. All good things must come to an end.
Now, you're advising some of America's richest families. Wall Street's creating these new money markets before the crash. You want to get as big a return as you can for your clients' investments. Were you stung? Were you embarrassed by some of the investments you made on behalf of your clients?
I think some of the investments that my clients was asking for was what I was embarrassed by, because look, I'm an advisor. I'm supposed to sit with these individuals, sit with these families, and help them steward God's blessings that they've been given. And I think I'm embarrassed by some of the advice that I was given, not particularly the product. It would say, no, you don't need that. This is an appropriate return. This is what is suitable. So I think we all have to reflect back on what was the core driver to what brought that advice, because it's myself who sits between that client and Wall Street. And so I'm there to make that connection, right? And so when I reflect back in the past decade, I'm saying, now, why did we make this decision? Why do we make that decision? And perhaps I was part of the problem. I was part of what was fueling that desire to have more. You see, God, I think, gives us a choice on this earth, ourselves or others. Let's say it again, ourselves or others. And I think we get so focused on ourselves that we forget the other piece of it. And I think I'm in a unique situation now to recognize those individuals that I work with who can truly help others. And is when helping others is at the forefront that I think they'll rethink how they look at that wealth, those earthly possessions, and how that can benefit those around them, how that can benefit ministries and benefit the poor and benefit poverty, things of that sort. So yeah, we always reflect back and say, why did I do that? You know, it's that advice piece. It was that disconnect that I think many of us had between what we have and what we want.
Were you in favor of Obama's bailout?
You know, I think it was needed. That's really the best way I can describe it. I think it was what was necessary. I mean, we were at the brink. I mean, think of me, September 2008. I mean, that is a month that I care never to think about again. Bankruptcies, bank failures. I mean, we were in a state of panic, fear, and greed, right? They connect. And so I think what went on in the fall of 2008 was absolutely necessary. Now, what has to happen now is we've got to come out of that. We've got to reprioritize. We've got to rethink our balance sheet. We've got to rethink our checkbook. Government, personal, ourselves, you and me. We've got to place that giving attitude on the front end, that saving attitude on the second end, and then allow the spending to be last. So give first, save second, spend third. Just refocus, reprioritize.
Do you think that's possible? Human nature being what it is, things start to turn around, things are going well. Aren't we thinking now a third car, a bigger boat, another condo in Florida?
It is tough. We live in an economic environment. We live in an environment where you have all of these influences, right? I mean, it's more, not less, less, less. Look, the more you spend, the more you think you need. I'm living proof that the more you give, the less you realize you need and want. Because I'm the first to tell you that I got caught up in that more. And what I realized was that I felt very empty, very void. I had an empty feeling in my heart. There was something between myself and the Lord. There was an obstacle.
You know, people hear someone like you say that, and they say, sure, you had it all. I don't have it all. I would love to have it all, so I'd have the luxury of saying, I'm empty.
Right.
Like, really, there's a disconnect, because there is ingrained in our culture this acquisitiveness, this materialism, where we've bought the lie that more is better.